The O2 Arena in London was alive with anticipation, the kind that only heavyweight boxing can create. This wasn't about titles or future promises. This was about pride, survival, and legacy. Derek Chisora walked toward the ring to a thunderous reception, the crowd roaring for their warrior, the man who never chose the easy road, loved not for perfection but for honesty. Across the ring stood Carlos Takam, the battle-hardened Cameroonian, quiet, focused, and built like stone. Takam had shared the ring with champions, pushed elite heavyweights to their limits, and tonight he arrived fully prepared, not on short notice, ready for war. As the referee gave his final instructions, there was respect but no warmth. Gloves touched, and just like that, the tension snapped. From the opening bell, Takam exploded forward with intent, throwing heavy clubbing punches designed to test Chisora's legendary chin early. Chisora answered by standing his ground, choosing violence over caution, welcoming the fight in the center of the ring. The crowd erupted as the two heavyweights collided, neither man interested in retreat. Takam's punches came fast and sharp, his conditioning evident, his confidence growing with every exchange. Chisora struggled to establish his jab, instead slipping shots and firing sneaky hooks to the body, betting that pressure and heart could outlast technique. The opening round was savage, a statement from both men that this fight would not be tactical, it would be primal. It was clear within minutes, this wasn't 12 rounds of chess, this was a test of will. As the early rounds unfolded, the pace was unforgiving. Takam continued to press, forcing Chisora back toward the ropes, unloading with full-blooded punches that echoed through the arena. Every shot carried weight, every exchange drained energy. Chisora absorbed punishment that would have folded lesser men, rolling with punches, shrugging them off, and firing back whenever Takam paused. His tactics were dangerous, standing in front of a relentless pressure fighter, but this was Chisora's world. The crowd sensed the danger, gasping with every clean shot that landed. Takam's bodywork was effective, his combinations sharp, and for moments he looked in full control. But Chisora refused to be overwhelmed. Slowly, subtly, his counters began landing cleaner. The left hook to the body dug deeper. The right hand started finding its mark. By the middle rounds, both men were breathing hard, sweat flying with every exchange. Punch output was extraordinary for heavyweights, relentless, punishing, unforgiving. This was no longer about skill alone. This was about who could endure the pain longer. Takam continued to throw in volume, confident that Chisora would eventually crack. Chisora, battered but defiant, leaned on experience, waiting, watching, believing that the tide would turn. The crowd roared not for dominance but for courage. This was boxing stripped to its core, two warriors refusing to yield. By the later rounds, fatigue had wrapped itself around both fighters like a vice. The pace they had set was brutal, and now the cost was visible. Takam's punches were still heavy, but his movement slowed. Chisora's face showed wear, yet his eyes stayed sharp. Between rounds, Chisora remained standing, chest heaving, refusing rest. He had been here before, deep waters, late rounds, doubt creeping in. Takam sensed opportunity and surged forward, landing clean shots that staggered Chisora. The Cameroonian poured on pressure, hooks and uppercuts snapping Chisora's head back. For a moment it looked like the end. Chisora wobbled. The crowd fell silent, but then instinct took over. Chisora planted his feet and fired back, unleashing everything he had left. A right hand cracked through, then another. Takam, so strong for so long, suddenly looked vulnerable. His legs betrayed him. His balance faltered. The momentum shifted violently. The O2 erupted as Chisora smelled blood. Years of experience, countless wars, and unbreakable belief surged forward in that moment. This was Chisora's territory, chaos, desperation, and heart. The fight had reached its breaking point. Then came the moment that defined it all. Derek Chisora launched a thunderous right hand, landing flush on the side of Carlos Takam's head, a punch thrown with everything he had left. Takam collapsed, his senses scrambled, the war finally catching up to him. The referee rushed in as Chisora followed up, forcing the stoppage. The arena exploded. It was over. Chisora dropped to his knees, roaring in triumph, emotion pouring out after one of the toughest fights of his career. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Against a man no one had ever stopped like this, Chisora had found a way, not with youth, not with speed, but with heart, resilience, and belief. As the celebration continued, respect filled the air. Carlos Takam had given everything, pushing Chisora to the edge and beyond. In defeat, there was honor. This fight will be remembered not for perfection, but for courage, for endurance, for two heavyweights who refused to quit. On this night, Derek Chisora reminded the world why he will always matter in boxing, why, when he commits fully, he can still produce moments that echo through history. This wasn't just a knockout. It was a war won by will. Studio.